All right. What's up, everybody? White people in Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, all the way to Staten Island, my home borough, Brooklyn. Back at it with another video, and today marks the 30th anniversary of one of the greatest films ever made, and one of my favorite films ever, Pulp Fiction, directed by the man to the right, Mr. Quentin Tarantino, starring John Travolta, the man to the far left, Samuel L. Jackson, and Uma Thurman, of course, the lady in the middle. Also starred Bruce Willis, Ving Rhames, and Christopher Walken. This movie's become one of the most influential movies of all time. I mean, it's considered Quentin Tarantino's magnum opus, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. One critic I read even called it the Godfather of the 1990s. And the American Film Institution selected it as one of the 10 greatest gangster films of all time. 7, to be specific. But unlike other anniversary films where I cover my favorite movies, I'm not going to try to cover the full thing. I'm just going to cover my favorite parts of it. And there are quite a few, but as you see, it starts off here giving the definition of pulp. The second definition, a magazine or book containing lurid subject matter and being carefully printed on rough, unfinished paper. The beginning to Pulp Fiction, of course, starts out with these two people here. The ladies starts yelling, "Any of you fucking pricks move, and I'll execute every motherfucking last one of you." And then, the song starts playing. You see the title card. It lists off all the stars of this movie. Of course, you see here Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta. This film was very important in re-energizing John Travolta's career, which was waning at the time, by the way. And Samuel L. Jackson had been in the movie industry for a while now. He was in films like Do the Right Thing and Goodfellas and Jungle Fever and Juice. But this right here made him a superstar. And he was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, and John Travolta was nominated for Best Actor in Lead Role, as well as Uma Thurman, who was nominated for Best Supporting Actress. But this scene right here, you see Vincent Vega, John Travolta, and Jules Winfield, Samuel L. Jackson, at the apartment of one of Marcellus Wallace's associates. And this scene, it's one of the best scenes probably in the history of cinema. It really is. Like this scene, when people think about Pulp Fiction, I think this is probably the first scene that will probably come to their head. This or that scene with Uma Thurman and Travolta, but I'll get to that in a minute. You see Vincent here looking in the briefcase, and people speculating for years, what's in the briefcase, what's glowing in there, what does Vincent see, so on and so forth. And Brett, the guy sitting down at the table eating the Big Kahuna burger, he gets startled when Jules, of course, shoots his friend right here on the couch. And Samuel L. Jackson gave probably some of the most iconic lines of his career. "What country are you from?" "What ain't no country I've ever heard of." They speak English and what? "English, motherfucker, do you speak it?" Do you understand what I'm saying? Describe what Marcellus Wallace looks like. Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time. Does he look like a bitch? What? Boom. Does he look like a bitch? And of course, Samuel L. Jackson, again, delivers one of the most iconic speeches in the history of cinema. He talks about a Bible scripture, Ezekiel, the 25th chapter, I believe, 7th verse. Moving ahead, you see here Bruce Willis' character, Butch, who's a boxer, talking to Marcellus Wallace, Ving Rhames' character, about throwing a fight. Marcellus Wallace is going to pay him to throw the fight. Right, of course, Butch doesn't. You see, it starts off with just Bruce Willis. You see Marcellus' hand, and then you see the back of his head. Of course, in that opening scene with Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson, they were speaking about Marcellus Wallace and Mia Wallace, because for all you see in this movie, Vince had to take care of Mia while Marcellus was out of town on business. And they really build up Marcellus Wallace as a very intimidating, powerful figure. I mean, of course, he's a gangster. And they play into that by slowly revealing him and his body and his face. You see Vincent Vega and Butch talking at the counter, having a little exchange. This will come back later. Of course, Vincent arrives at Mia's house. She leaves a note for him. She lets Vincent in, speaks to him on the intercom, and says, "Go make yourself a drink. I'll be down. There's 2 shakes of a lamb's tail." They arrive at this 1950s themed restaurant, and again, one of the most iconic scenes in the Probably the movie. Again, when you think about Pulp Fiction, I think you think about Samuel L. Jackson's speech in the beginning, and probably this scene right here. They dance to Chuck Berry's "You Never Can Tell." Of course, later on, they go back to Mia's house, and she ODs on some drugs that Vincent left out, and that causes the whole thing. Here's the legendary Christopher Walken. He's telling a young Butch a story about his father and the watch, the gold watch to be exact. Later on, you see Butch back in his apartment, and he's looking at a Mac 10 that Vincent so clumsily left out. You know, one of the great things about this movie is how it was told out of chronological order. You know, I think that's what makes this movie so special, makes it stand out from other films in cinema. It's one of the best movies ever made, Pulp Fiction. But anyway, you see Butch staring at the Mac 10, and he hears the toilet flush, and he realizes who's there. Vincent comes out like a fool. He left the Mac 10 out, and well, Butch, put some slugs in him, killing Vincent. Later on, this is this is probably one of my least favorite parts. I mean, I like the speech that Marcellus gives here, but again, if you've seen the movie before, you know what preceded this. I'm gonna call a couple of hard pipehead niggas to go to work on the homes here with a pair of pliers and a blowtorch. You hear me talking, hillbilly boy? I ain't through as you by a damn sight. I'm gonna get medieval on your ass. And Marcellus tells Butch, you lost all your LA connections. There's no more me and you. We're done. Get up out of here before I send somebody to kill you. And now we go back to the beginning. Then they go back to the beginning with that apartment scene. The black dude, I don't know if you noticed, but the black dude, Phil Lamar, standing behind Samuel L. Jackson, they take him. His name was Marvin. Phil Lamar was the actor who played him. And Vincent, unfortunately, shoots him in the face accidentally. Kills him, and then they need to get off the highway because, it looks very suspicious seeing a dead body and blood all over a car. They end up going to Jules' friend Jimmy's house. Of course, Jimmy's played by Quentin Tarantino. And then this where we introduce probably my favorite character from this movie, Winston Wolfe. Winston Wolfe, probably my favorite character from the movie. He was just so cool and so assertive and calm. Sort of a calm. You could tell he must have been a great leader. Like I said, he's probably my favorite character in the movie. He's just so smooth, and how he handles the situation, so calm under pressure, and how assertive he is without raising his voice and yelling and cursing. How he handles Vincent. Anyway, they got to get the dead body out of there before Jimmy's wife Bonnie comes home. And you see the wolf scoping out the problem. He tells Jules and Vincent to clean out the car while he talks to Jimmy. They say, here's Vincent asking for a pretty please, and the wolf has to threaten him subtly. If my help is not appreciated, I'll have a nice fucking day, gentlemen. And, Jules has to calm the situation down, and they get to work. Of course, got out of those bloody clothes. We all know the wolves hosed them down. They wash themselves down with soap and put them in these dorky clothes. Jules says, ha, 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 they're your clothes, motherfucker. Then it ends here in the diner, which is where the movie starts in the beginning, in the first place, with those two nut jobs. Like I said, this movie, it helped re-energize John Travolta's career, which again was waning at the time. It made Samuel L. Jackson and Uma Thurman superstars. All three of them were nominated for Oscars. This movie was nominated for an Oscar for, I believe, Best Original Screenplay, and I believe it won. Tarantino, of course, Quentin Tarantino, this wasn't his first film. His first film was Reservoir Dogs, but this kind of put Tarantino on the map as a superstar director, if you will. They're one of the greatest and most influential movies ever made. If you never checked out Pulp Fiction, highly recommend it. 1994 was a legendary year for cinema. I've covered The Lion King and The Shawshank Redemption. This movie, other great movies. Forrest Gump came out that year. Jim Carrey did that movie. What was a movie called The Mask? I used to love that movie as a kid. Just an overall great year. But anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Is this one of your favorite movies of all time? Where does this rank amongst your greatest movies of all time? Was this the best film released in 94? Let me know in the comment section. Don't forget, click the like button, subscribe. I'm going to see you all.